Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Unscripted Sports Show. I'm your host, Money E, aka Eric, and this is week one college football season prediction and best bet show. I will be giving a recap last week, and then I'll give out 10. I'll do 10 picks, pick 'em, not best bets, but pick 'em. I'll give up my prediction score and all that, and I'll do the best bets with the best bets I'm doing for those games. Because it's 10 games, I do most likely those are some of them are going to be best bets. So let's recap last week. Georgia Tech upset Florida State 24-21. So Georgia Tech won outright on the money line and on the spread, which was 10.5, which I had. I had under 2, so I hit on that at least. Montana State and New Mexico. New Mexico covered the 14. New Mexico blew that lead in the fourth quarter. Unbelievable. But it was an unbelievable game, too. It was a good game to watch. But I had New Mexico to cover. Nevada covered the 28 against SMU. That line was too high. SMU's overrated, I think. But Nevada's not that good. But Nevada had the lead going into the fourth quarter, so they could have won that game easily, too. And then Delaware State covered against Hawaii in the late cap in Hawaii. So, yeah. So the first game we'll talk about is tonight. North Carolina and Minnesota. Minnesota is a +2 underdog at home against North Carolina. The over-under is 50.5. You see the last 5 games for each from last year. First game of the season for both teams. For that game, I have my prediction is I have North Carolina. I have Minnesota upsetting North Carolina, 27-24, and I have going under. No wait, yeah, going under. So yeah, best bet I have for that game. I'll do that. I'll do separate. Next game on the docket, I have is the Colorado and North Dakota State game. North Dakota State Bison, one of the best teams in FCS over the last 10 years, I think. I want to say they traveled to Boulder, Colorado to face Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. Deion Sanders' second season. It's dropped back to 9.5. So yeah, so it's 9.5. Over under 58.5. And that dropped too. Yeah, the over under dropped. It was at 61 yesterday. So I have to change that on my sheet. So yeah, that number dropped it dropped a point and a half, and yeah, so I have North Carolina losing Minnesota 27-24. Next game, Colorado. No, that was the Colorado game. Colorado game dropped to 58, which is a big difference. It dropped 3 points yesterday. But it dropped half a point from the spread. So I have Colorado winning 41-24. Yeah, I have -10 here because I had that was the line from yesterday. So next game after that, I have next game on the docket is Penn State on Saturday, traveling number 8 Penn State Nittany Lions traveling to West Virginia, Fox Noon, first Fox Noon game of the year, big Fox game. And that's a 12 noon Eastern time, as I said. This is not an easy game for Penn State. Penn State is 8-point favorites, over under 51.5. Both have good defenses. I think West Virginia is better than people think, and Penn State cannot overlook them. This is a game they cannot lose if you want to get to the playoffs this year. And Penn State doesn't get to the playoffs this year, Dan Franklin is a goner, finally. As a somewhat Penn State fan, they're my second team. I have family that went there, so I've always liked them. So, because they're Pennsylvania, so yeah, he has to go. I've been saying that for the last 4 years. Dan Franklin is. I'm not gonna say it on here, but he's not a good coach. I don't think he's a good coach for this team. He might have been good at Vandy. That's Vandy. So I have Penn State winning 27-17, covering the spread, and the under hits. Over under was 51.5. So yeah. Next game, Clemson, Georgia, the biggest game of the season, the biggest game of the day, 12 o'clock on ABC. From Mercedes-Benz Stadium, number 1 Georgia Bulldogs played number 14 Clemson Tigers. Georgia is 13.5 point favorites, and the over/under is 48.5. And I like Georgia to win 45-21, covering the spread, and the over hits easily. Next game is Miami and Florida. Florida's my team. I'm going to be a little biased here. I'm going to the 3:30 game on ABC. This follows the Georgia game. Florida is a -2.5 point underdog at home. Place is going to be rocking. This is a rivalry game, in-state rival, so there's going to be kids that played each other in high school. This is going to be a great game. Florida had a tough schedule, brutal schedule this year. I see them winning 24-21 on under hits. Next game is Colorado State at Texas. 3:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. Number four Texas Longhorns host Colorado State Rams. Texas was in the semifinals of the playoffs last year. They lost to Washington, as we know. They're 30. It's jumped to 36.5. No, it opened at 36.5. And now it's 32. Over under 60.5. Again, I like Texas to win 49-24. Colorado State covers and the over hits. Next game is Notre Dame at Texas A&M. This is probably the second best game on the slate on Saturday and this week. This is at 7:30. This is the nightcap. This is the night game. This is Notre Dame is -3 point underdogs. I mean, +3 underdogs. 46.5 over under. I see Notre Dame losing. I have Texas A&M win 23-21. Notre Dame covers and under hits. So it's going to be really close for both. Next one, UCLA and Hawaii. This is at 7:30. I have Notre Dame winning. No, I have Notre Dame losing 23-21. So I have Texas A&M covering and winning outright, and the under hit. This next game is UCLA and Hawaii, as I said. Next game is at 7:30 on CBS and Paramount. Hawaii won last week. You were one of the teams that won last week. As I said in recap, for UCLA, 14-point underdogs. As opposed to last week when they were 40-point 40-point favorites. I have UCLA winning 35-24. Hawaii covers. And the under and the over, and it goes under. Next game is last game I'm picking. It's Boston College at Florida State. Another team that played last week, number 10. They're number 10 still, which is, I guess, because it's technically with week 0, week 1. It's just, they're doing it like that. No, sorry, I missed. Next game is LSU and USC on Sunday. That's my bad. Yeah. USC is 4.5. It jumped to 4.5. Yesterday, it was 4. It went to 4, went up half a point, and 64.5. That stayed. Yeah, it went up half a point since I edited when I put this in. I planned on doing the show yesterday, but it didn't work out. Technical difficulties. Technology is great, right? Yeah. So I have LSU winning 30, 38-17, covering the spread and under hits. Now the last game on the schedule, as I said before, Florida State and Boston College. Florida State's number 10, going back home to Tallahassee, opposed to Boston College Eagles. Florida State lost last week. They're still pissed about. But that's my fault. I put 10 units on them. So, Florida State just loads up. Florida State is 16.5. It opened at 21. So it dropped 5. Over under 49.5. It's probably just a bitterness pick, but I have Florida State losing 24-17 to Boston College. I wasn't impressed with Florida State. I wasn't impressed with their defense or their offense, especially their offense. DJ U stinks. I don't care what anybody's saying. He stinks. third team in 3 years. He stinks. He can't throw downfield. In NFL, you have to throw downfield. Hey, he could prove me wrong in 5 years, but right now he stinks. That concludes my 10 pick 'em, and I'll recap that next week, see what my record is. Now to my best bets. My first best bet is North Carolina and Minnesota over 50.5, and the Minnesota first half money line at minus 105, and the over under 50.5 is minus 110, and that is on ESPN Bet. I think the first half is still the same. I got this on last night, so the second best bet is in the Colorado game. Colorado. Now it's 9.5, so I have been covering 9.5. And I think that was at minus 115, I believe it was. And the over under dropped to 58. As we saw, let's go back to that. That dropped to 58.5 and 9.5 now. So yeah, those are my two best bets from that game. I forgot. I didn't change. I didn't realize it changed. So next one. I forgot to edit that. So it's 10 and it's let me edit that now. And 58.5. I don't know why it dropped so much. And over under didn't usually drop that much like that. I updated it. And my final bet, my money play bet, best bet. This is my bet. This is my best bet. They're all best bets, but this is my top best bet. So I call it money play best bet. So yeah, this is my best money play best bet. It's Georgia Bulldogs on Saturday covering against Clemson 13.5. Obviously, I have been covering because I have been winning 45-21. Well, that concludes week one predictions and best bets. Make sure to check out our other channels in the Everything Unscripted Podcast Network feed. The links will be in the description. When Wrestling Through the Years, we'll be doing top 50 wrestlers of all time tomorrow night. Check that out live on youtube.com/Wrestling Through the Years. And then Wrestling Through the Years. But yeah, check that out. Top 50 WCW wrestlers of all time. Doing that live. Then on Saturday, myself and Doug and maybe some others will be doing on Team Combined on youtube.com/Team Combined. It's the Jetsons, the Simpsons, the Mask, the Mask cartoon movie, with Jim Carrey, that one. And He-Man, I think. Let me check. Hold on. I want to get this right. Yeah, it's He-Man. And the Mask is the Jim Carrey one, not the other mask that we did a couple weeks ago. and then Simpsons and Jetsons. So check that out on Saturday, probably at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Bros Down with Daniel and Bobby, and then Stabcast with Daniel and Mindy. Both on Sunday. I think one Sunday morning, one Sunday afternoon. And then either Monday or Tuesday, my brother and myself, maybe Kenneth, we're doing an NFL preview and predictions and week one picks. So check that out. And I'll be back for week two next week, probably Wednesday or Thursday. We're doing the NFL before the college to the schedule conflict. Sorry. Not conflict, but schedule. It works out for all parties. So check that out. And later.